Got a call from our guy, Richie, who is very clearly a Georgia Bulldog fan. Take a listen.
This is Richie from Elverton, Georgia. You're talking about spring ball propaganda. I just want to let you know that I went to the Georgia spring game. I saw them dogs aired out. Zachary Branch, he's going to be an All-American. Gunner Stockton, and book him in for your Heisman. First player I've seen in a very long time for the Bulldogs at quarterback, besides Stetson Bennett, who can really just go run some MFers over, and then he'll launch that downfield for a touchdown. Calling it right now, Dogs are going 16-0. No team on our schedule can come close to us. We are the Dogs.
So if you were to ask ChatGPT to give you a Georgia Bulldog fan, it would give you Richie. Just so we're all on the same page, that's what a Georgia Bulldog fan sounds like on the phone. We'll go from there. Georgia Bulldog fans, by the way, make sure you are subscribed to College Football Nothing But. If you want more Georgia content, like I'm assuming Richie does, go ahead and subscribe for us. Lets us know you want more Georgia content. It's a supply and demand thing. So you subscribing tells us there's a demand. We will be sure to supply. But also want to make sure y'all know, Hard Count presented by Culver's. Now, Andy and Ari on 3 will be at the draft today, coming to you live from Green Bay. Thursday, today, April 24th, to tomorrow, Friday, April 25th. They'll be set up right outside the famous frozen tundra of Lambeau Field at the Culver's Great Wisconsin Tailgate. Born in Wisconsin, Culver's is the home of the legendary Butter Burger, fresh frozen custard, and Wisconsin cheese curds. There is no better representation of America's Dairyland than that. We'll have some special guests, so make sure you're tuned in throughout the draft. You won't want to miss it. For more details, and get ready for a weekend of fun made fresh with our friends at Culver's. Likely some Bulldogs, I would have to believe, here in the name called in the draft tonight. So lock in there. But to get to what Richie was saying, he was saying it was spring ball propaganda. We understand that. We love it. We asked for that, for the record. Here's my take. This year's Georgia will be better than last year's Georgia. So what Richie is saying around Zachariah Branch being a baller this year, we're here for that. Gunner Stockton and how he operates, we're here for that. Like, the phone call in itself was pretty extreme, but legitimately, this Georgia team, I like the way that they are wired from what I can gauge right now in the spring relative to what they were last year. Now, last year, I picked Georgia to win a national championship. Clearly, that was not the case, but I think that this Georgia team, they just have more of an edge to them, dude. And people say, well, JD, what's an edge? What does that even mean? It's one of those things that's a little bit undefinable, but to try and explain it, it's kind of like that psychopath trait we talk about on this show, where you could be in the eye of a hurricane and you're able to block everything else out. Nothing else really affects you. Nothing bothers you. You're able to just put it all aside, focus on the task at hand, go to work, and find a way to get it done. And Georgia had like tints of that last year. It's why they won the SEC. But it's one thing for it to be Kirby Smart, psychopath trait, trying to put it into his football team. He does that at a high level, better than anybody else in the sport right now. So make that clear. But it's another thing to have it be from player to the rest of the team with the psychopath trait. Like, I think that's what some of the best teams in college football have had. Like Michigan, when they won the national title, they had the psychopath trait across their roster. Bama had it with Saban. Georgia's had it before. I think that right now with Georgia, there is no better embodiment of that psychopath trait than Gunnar Stockton. I keep saying this, y'all. He was dead on the field in Atlanta. He was dead on the field. That helmet popped off. Eyes rolled back in the head. No idea what the pulse did. I'd imagine it stopped. Dude was out on the field in Atlanta. Pops up, gets off the field. Like, that's the guy playing quarterback for you here in 2025. A guy who's waited his turn at Georgia when he could have transferred out many a time. I promise you he could have. Could have started somewhere last year if he wanted to. Stays at Georgia, waits his turn. I think he's got an edge to him. And so it's one thing for, like, the parents to have a certain attitude and mentality, but when the big brother has that mentality, dude, that's when the rest of the siblings take on that persona and that leadership and that kind of, again, that edge to you. So I think that's a Gunner Stockton. He mentions in the voicemail Stetson Bennett. And Stetson Bennett, with what he was at Georgia, started out a little bit rocky with his reputation with the fan base and all that, but once he finished out, like, he was, I mean, Kirby said it post-game after the national championship in Los Angeles against TCU. He said that dude has GOAT status in Athens, Georgia. That's a debate for another time, but the point I'm trying to make here is Stetson Bennett had that edge, and the defense was incredible in 21. Don't hear me incorrectly. And you still had Brock Bowers, who was a freaking creative player, but I think a lot of that, the reason they won the national championship in 2022, for my money, was because Stetson Bennett had a freaking edge to him. He was a dog. I think everyone else fed around him. So, like, the talent in itself is relative at Georgia. I don't think Georgia will ever show up on a field and just be drastically outmatched. Do some teams have better talent than Georgia year in and year out? I think it's an argument you can make. Like Ohio State last year was super talented, but the edge for Georgia is what's always separated them from the other teams. It's been the differentiating factor. And last year, if we want to be real about this, that was why they lost Notre Dame. Like Georgia, no disrespect to Notre Dame, they were more talented than the Irish. Notre Dame out-Georgia'd them. Notre Dame out-edged them, out-traded them. I think this year, with all of the ingredients they have on this roster that has that chip on their shoulder, I love the way they're built, man. I love the way they're built. You got better at the skill player position for sure, but like Zach Branch, think he has an edge. 5-star guy, hasn't totally lived up to that just yet. I'd imagine by his standards, got an edge. Mike Bobo, a guy who seemingly is always to blame, whether there's bad weather in Atlanta or whether the offense isn't doing what it's supposed to do, probably has an edge. Gunner Stockton, we talked about him, the edge. All these things, a defense full of guys at Georgia that haven't won their own national championship, as a group at least. So you say, JD, we have an edge. That's cool. Why does that matter? Because of what I just said. When you show up on the field with a team that is equal or maybe a touch greater than talent level than you, that is what wins the game. It's hyperbolic maybe it's cliche, whatever. I think it's true. So for Georgia, man, I think this year they will be better than last year. Does that mean national championship? I don't know, but I will be shocked. I will be absolutely shocked if we sit here a year from now and say, man, Kirby just can't find a way to win a playoff game in the 12-team format. I don't know what it is. I'd be shocked if that were the case. So let me know your thoughts. Again, Georgia fans, make sure you're subscribed. But that edge that Georgia has, I think it's real. I think it changes the game for them here in 2025. They will be better this year than they were last year. Mark my words.